Am I the idiot for trashing the gift my girlfriend got me? Throwaway. So me, 28M, and my GF, 30F, have been together for 8 years and we have been living together for 4 years. GF has always been the artsy type and always has some personal project going, but she has the tendency to get lost in her own world. We celebrated my birthday last weekend and she ended up getting me a pencil lengthier. I don't use pencils, and the lengthier in question didn't even fit your typical number 2, it was purely for colored pencils. I also don't color. When she asked me if I liked it, I just quietly walked outside our home and tossed it in the trash. She was understandably upset and called me in. For doing that, claiming that I could have at least tried it. Here's the thing, she has been doing things like this ever since we started living together. She has been gifting me things that she likes and ultimately ends up using them. For example, last year she got a packet of Sailor Moon stickers. I don't watch Sailor Moon and she ended up using them all. She also gifted me a jewelry box one time. I don't wear jewelry, so guess who's been using it all this time? First world problems at its finest. So it's been a few days and she's still upset and has even got both of our parents to berate me for trashing the gift. She even admitted she knew I would hate it and was planning on using it after I all calmed down in a few days, a detail that she did share with others, but I am still getting name called. Am I really the Edit. Nearly every comment says we need to talk about this. The thing is, we have, and more than once. She admitted she does this because she wants something but decides to gift it to me to say, I tried. I asked if I gave her a wish list, would that help, and she said that she would never look in it, and well, she didn't, when I made and sent one to her. She on the other hand does have a wish list which I do get her stuff from, and some of that stuff is actually expensive. Comment 1. Indeed. She hasn't gotten him a gift in years and hasn't seen him in months despite living less than 15 minutes away. Definitely not Mother of the Year material. Comment 2. My husband of 33 years never gifts me anything ever. He did when we were dating, but ever since we got married he hasn't. Now, he has many other qualities that keep me around. However, it still hurts and it still bothers me that it doesn't bother him, that I feel bad about it. It's something I've learned to let roll, but my advice is, if it bothers you, don't continue with the relationship. It won't get better. Update. I was not expecting this much attention. I want to thank everyone for commenting and giving advice. Sorry I couldn't get to you all. I wasn't expecting to make an update, but there's been a development. Before that, I want to address a few things. Many commentators said that my GF is a narcissist or has some personality disorder. Probably should have mentioned this before, but she has ADHD, which she is medicated for, so she has always been pretty scatterbrained. However, it did get noticeably worse when we moved in together, such as blowing plans, because she either forgot completely, or forgot the part where we agreed on them, or forgetting to do any errands or chores because she is just so invested in something, usually an art project. There was one comment that resonated with me that said that I must have been conditioned to accept this kind of behavior. That is accurate. My parents always instilled into me to be grateful and happy for getting anything at all because they got nothing when they were younger. If I got a sack of S*** as a gift, I was expected to dance like Happy Prospector. If this at all explains my tolerant/doormat behavior. The update: despite using a throwaway, my GF still found the post. She was very miffed by the responses and tried to vent to her friends, but they weren't on her side. She then decided to show the post to her and my siblings. They wanted to know if it was true, and when confirmed they all yelled at her and they got our respective parents calm down and stop talking about it. She came to me over the weekend, and after talking about it since then we kind of worked over several things. She recognized that she really did screw up, and as an apology she gave me this cool dragon diffuser I've been wanting for a while, and a box of all the stuff I was gifted, telling me I may do whatever I please with them. She's also open to not receiving gifts for the next couple of special occasions, which I will be doing. So when it came down to her selfish gift giving, apparently what she meant by "I tried" was her forgetting about these occasions up until the last minute and not wanting to admit it. She hastily gets them off of Amazon from whatever shows up first on her homepage, and just hopes I'll like them enough to not say anything negatively, and uses them when I won't. She refused to look at my wish list because gifts should be a surprise, but when I brought up her list, she had no answer. She said she'll look at mine from now on. I don't think this is a deal breaker, but it does need to end, and while most of you were right, there were other issues. We have agreed to therapy, single and couples, which she will pay for. This may not what you were expecting, but I think it's a good start. Comment 1. Yes, this so much. The other day I told a friend that I hadn't seen another friend since her wedding BC. I don't know her husband well, and would rather meet one-on-one with my friend sometime, but that would not be possible since she is married now. The look on my friend's face. Who would have guessed that people in non-controlling relationships don't get into trouble with their spouses when they spend any time without them? Comment 2. I also have ADHD and have a really hard time with dates. A really hard time. But at no point ever in my entire life have I been this selfish about gift giving. That cannot be blamed on ND. All my life, my anxiety about letting down others has been my most helpful coping strategy with ADHD. Please do remember that hyperfixation is also part of ADHD, and if you care about someone and want to make them happy, especially if you've failed once in the past, that part can also kick in. If you care about them. If you care about the mistakes you made. I'm not okay with giving her a pass on this one because of ND. I think that's insulting to all of us with ND. ETA. Some of the very best gifts I have given people were done at the 0 hour because of my inability to keep track of time. For instance, 2 months ago, my uncle-in-law's birthday sprang out of nowhere. I spent 2 minutes thinking deeply about him and what he loved, and then sent my husband a link to Cameo, and told him to pick out a former player from his ride or die college football team who is now pro. This gift is now legendary. He was beyond tickled. So no. You can do something last minute and still have the present be about the person you're gifting to, and not about you. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling our friend she is partially to blame for her husband's infidelity? Quick backstory, my wife and I have 2 good friends who are married. We're close to both of them. We'll call them Steve and Cindy. A couple years ago, they were over for dinner, and Steve and I started bullshitting. He had mentioned that his sex life was all but dead, absolutely nothing going on. He complained about it, but Cindy didn't really seem to care. He finally convinced her to see a sex therapist, and Cindy admitted during one of their sessions that she no longer desires sex and doesn't feel the need to satisfy him. Nothing really changed after that, and Steve told me he was exhausted from trying to get his wife to be intimate again. He really did love her, so divorce over sex wasn't really an option. He wanted it to work, so he stopped pursuing her sexually, knowing that's what she wanted. Anyways, fast forward a couple years, and Steve started going to those Asian massage parlors where you can pay for services. Cindy found out, came over one night crying like crazy. She was so upset, hurt, and didn't want to accept that he would do something like this behind her back. I told her that Steve had talked to me about what was going on, and she demanded I tell her what I knew. I told her that Steve complained to me about their lack of sex a while back, and that he was still in love, so he was going to try and make it work. But it's hard when you're married to someone who doesn't care about your physical needs, so what did she expect? She got pissed, yelled at me, and left. My wife kind of just looked at me with a glare. However, keep in mind that we are all really good friends, so being blunt and honest about anything and everything is never an issue with us. Comment 1. I'm almost certain I've read this story word for word before, even with the same names, but in that story it later came out in the comments that it wasn't at all like what the husband had described, and that he wasn't the loving husband who just wanted intimacy that his wife wouldn't provide. So I'm thinking a bored troll might have dug this up and reposted it. Comment 2. Just a curious internet stranger who doesn't really see people talking this openly about marriage. But please don't feel like you have to answer my question if it makes you uncomfy, that's not my intention. How do you work on something so kind of just there and physical? And how did it get to that point? I just props to you for doing all the work. It's a perspective I haven't seen in the relationships around me, and I think it's important to see sometimes that you can have the best intentions, and try everything and shit still not work out, or even just see what having the best intentions and trying everything looks like. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my family to accept my fiancé and not be disrespectful? Disclaimer, right away I'm going to say, clearly, that both me and my fiancé made mistakes. We were wrong to go behind the backs of our respective spouses. We shouldn't have had an affair. We should have behaved like adults. If you are going to downvote me or deem me the asshole, do it solely because of the question in my post and not because I had an affair. I already know I'm the asshole for that. I'm engaged, but my family doesn't accept my fiancé at all in any way. She is persona non grata. They are against our whole relationship. I was married before. So was my fiancé. We were both married when our relationship started, see my disclaimer above. For my part, one did love my wife, but we had married young, we didn't live together beforehand, and we were struggling with infertility, which did a number. Since we are Catholic, we didn't see most fertility treatments as an option. I should have acted better, I know. My fiancé and her ex-husband and their families also went to our church, same as me and my wife and both of ours. When my fiancé found out she was pregnant, we made the decision to get divorces because we wanted to raise our child together. Neither my wife nor her husband wanted a divorce. Between them not wanting it and the law here that a divorce can't happen while a woman is pregnant, even if she wants it, the judge's hands are tied. It took a long time for both divorces to happen. My fiancé is pregnant with our second child, due this week. When the waiting period to get married again after divorce is up next month, we will get married immediately. We have been ready for a long time. We can't have a Catholic wedding because neither of us were able to secure annulments, which you need in the church if you want to get married again. Due to the pandemic and us wanting it done right away, we are going to do a civil one at City Hall with no fuss. Both her family and mine have said they wouldn't attend even if we were having guests. Our families will see us on our own and our son, but otherwise won't accept us being in a relationship. Both families are mad at us over the scandal it was in church. My family supports my ex-wife versus my fiancé. I told my family they need to accept my fiancé because we are getting married. She's the mother of my kids and she isn't going anywhere. My parents said I was being petulant, my siblings agree, and so does my extended family. They say they don't have to after our actions. My fiancé had a similar conversation with her family, but it went the same. My own brother said I'm the jerk and had nerve to make demands after how I acted. It's been hard, the lengthy divorce time, the denied annulments, that our son couldn't be baptized because we weren't married to other people, and there were doubts he'd be raised Catholic due to our situation, which will also apply to our new baby. Being called entitled on top of it was difficult. Comment 1. I told my family they need to accept my fiancé. Cheaters and homewreckers don't get to complain about shit. Your family aren't obligated to make nice with your affair partner even if she's pregnant. They don't want to reward your bad behavior. There were so many ways you could have managed this like reasonable people and you didn't. These are the consequences. Comment 2. YTA. I like how you said, don't say I'm the asshole for cheating, but you do realize that's the entire reason they think you're the asshole, right? And rightfully so. Your poor ex-wife. She was having infertility issues and your answer was to cheat and get another woman pregnant? I'd be mad if a member of my family did that, and I would totally be on the ex's side and probably not like the other woman much either, especially knowing she also cheated. You're a dick. And you say, I know I'm the asshole for cheating, but then don't want your family to treat you and your fiancé like you're assholes for cheating?